That reminds me of did you ever watch that show Episodes?
No, I've heard of it. That's the Friends, Matt Blanc, right?
Yeah, it's like a fake fictional version of himself.
Yeah. I never actually watched it, but
At one point in the show, he was feeling a bit depressed, so he slept with his stalker. It was a young, beautiful woman.
that's hilarious. In a comedic universe, that's hilarious. Like in the realm of television, it's sort of like when I watch a horror movie and with Robin, she's like, people don't deserve to die. I'm like, no, there are rules to horror movies, and that person deserves to die by the law of horror movies, not real life.
Hey up, Residers, and all you scandal-loving listeners out there. You just tuned into the Non-Judging Breakfast Pod, where the coffee is strong, the waffles are fresh, and the gossip is hotter than ever. My name is Leif, and I'm your seasoned Gossip Girl veteran.
And I'm Steve, your newbie, your greenhorn, I don't know, Leif, it's season 3. How new am I?
Well, if you don't mind, or even if you do, we have an episode to record here.
Yeah, I mean, after all, I drove across state lines to get here, so let's go ahead and get into it. So here's the deal, folks. Leif has been a fan of Gossip Girl since it first aired, and I'm diving in for the very first time. And together, we're your dynamic duo, bringing you all the drama, romance, and sometimes questionable fashion choices of this iconic 2007 series.
That's right. Each week, we'll be taking a deep dive into the show, one episode at a time. We analyze the hidden parallels and obscure references. Plus, we'll also be touching on all the behind-the-scenes gossip and some stories from fandom.
And since we're all about inclusivity here at the Non-Judging Breakfast Pod, there's always room for you at the Non-Judging Breakfast table. So go ahead and grab a mimosa, some coffee, or maybe some of Nate and Chuck's special medicine, and let's get into this.
Let's do it. We are here at Season 3.
Season 3, yeah. I just realized this morning how close we are to 50 episodes.
Yes, we are. We're getting pretty close here.
Yeah. Just a few away, which is really a milestone for podcasts.
So it's kind of a slow episode, but I think it set some stuff up.
Yeah, and I know we said this in our last episode, but once again, go Birds. I was down at the parade. I just wanted to bring that up, that a friend of ours lives right off of Broad Street and got to sit there and watch the parade as it went by, and then saw the speeches censored on TV, so we could hardly hear what they said.
Yeah, the key was to find the YouTube live stream.
Yeah, and we were at a friend's house, and we didn't want to change the TV, but I've since been looking them up and finding a lot of them unedited, because the censorship was so bad on CBS that it would be right as they said something, then you would lose like the rest of their speech. They would block it out for like 30 seconds sometimes.
That's because they can only dump so many times in like within a certain amount of period.
Yeah, and I'm familiar with how it works. My big thing is, Howie, just pay the fines. Howie, just pay all the FCC fines. That won't go against salary cap, We've got the money's there in the budget. Like, go ahead, just pay all their fines and let them.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to get that kind of attention on you right now with the current administration.
Yeah, that's true.
And like I said, if you found the YouTube link, you can watch it live uncensored.
Yeah, and I'll remember that for next time, because it was really annoying how much they dropped just to be safe. And then you had other networks that were like never on the ball. They'd be like, "We're fucking chill. We're very sorry about what you just heard," and they'd cut out the wrong part.
And then I know the Fox one, like they kept like cutting in to apologize.
Yeah, there was another. I think it was ABC also did that. It was like, you missed it. Just apologize once at the end.
But we are here to talk about Gossip Girl Season 3, Episode 1, Reversals of Fortune. Original air date was September 14th, 2009.
That's a late premiere for them, isn't it? Weren't the others closer to August?
Maybe. I'll have to go back and look. Let us know.
I thought I remembered that little bit of a lore dump when we first started, that because season 2 starts before they get back to New York. So I thought I remembered that. I could be completely off too. So let us know, folks.
I mean, this is before college starts, which usually starts in August.
Yeah.
So the title is based off of the movie Reversals of Fortune as 1990, starring Jeremy Irons and Glenn Close. Never seen it.
Never saw it. I've heard the title, and that's about it. But I think I've heard the title as a phrase.
The short description on IMDb is, wealthy Sonny von Bülow ties brain-dead husband Klaus guilty of attempted murder, but he says he's innocent and hires Alan Dershowitz for his appeal.
Is it a true story?
Possibly.
I mean, isn't Alan Dershowitz a real attorney?
I believe so.
And, who wasn't famous yet either, right? He got famous from the OJ trial, right?
Sure.
I think so, because I think he was on the OJ team, and that wasn't until 95. 94? 95, somewhere in there. Yeah, 95, because I was a freshman in college when he was on trial.
This episode was written by new de facto showrunner Josh Safran.
Yeah. Decent job.
Yeah. And directed by, back again, J. Miller Tobin. This is his 5th episode of the series. Previously did Poison Ivy, Blair Bitch Project, Summer Kind of Wonderful, and The Grandfather.
Funny, that's a roller coaster. Poison Ivy, our favorite. And then I like The Grandfather. The other two, Summer Kind of Wonderful, is probably one of our lowest rated episodes, I think.
And that was the season premiere, so we liked that one better than the second one.
Oh,
which has never been Marcused.
Yeah, it was never been Marcus. That it was probably our lowest rated so far. Although this was a better premiere, I thought. This was a better season premiere than the last one.
Why don't you go ahead and read us the Vulture recap?
All right, here we go. It's a heartbreaking thing, the end of summer, and yet fall comes almost as a relief, as the air turns crisper and invigorating winds sweep across the land. We're happy to wave goodbye to our summer friends, the ones with whom we've engaged in superficial conversations for the past few months, and go back to our real friends, our city friends, to leave behind that slow-minded pool, gossip, and partake once again in rapid, reference-rich conversation with smart people who know, maybe, who Anis Nin and Truffaut are, and with the new season, too, comes a fresh start, a chance to do something, to be something different. This is what we felt last night during the season premiere of Gossip Girl, the greatest show of our time. Last night's episode was all about new beginnings, about taking on new roles or shaking off old ones. The Humphrey family, now conjoined to the Bass Vanderwoodsons, were adjusting to their new social and economic positions with varying degrees of success. Meanwhile, Rufus and Lily's son, Scott, had been playing the part of Vanessa's innocent love interest, though clearly his sights are set on something bigger. Nate Archibald was trying to resist playing the role his family wanted him to, though he will likely be foiled in this endeavor, for he is an imbecile. And his grandfather has a Ferrari. Blair and Chuck were finding that a little role-playing was helping them come to terms with their new monogamous selves, and even Carter Bazin appeared to be in the process of transforming himself from a cocky, arrogant asshole into a sensitive, thoughtful young man. Serena, however, was basically the same.
Facts.
Oh my God. Once again, it's a perfect recap. And if nothing else, for that last line, all of these people are just trying to be their new self, and Serena is just Serena.
Yeah, Serena was super cringy in the season finale, and she's super cringy in the season premiere.
She's so cringy. I have stuff to say, but we'll get to that. And on that note, I will say, now whenever I talk to somebody about being on the non-judging breakfast pod, the first thing I'm asked is if I'm up on the drama of the Blake Lively and Justin
Baldoni,
which I mostly get my intel from Leif, and I've read some of it, but yeah, I just keep seeing Baldoni coming up with receipts.
Yeah, I mean, trial should be interesting.
Yeah, I'll be following that along a lot closer. I hate following that stuff. Like, I hate celebrity bullshit like that. However, I feel like this is just part of the job of being on this podcast at that point, you know?
Act 1 begins. Welcome back, Upper East Siders. After a long, hot summer away, I see it didn't take long for you to dirty up the clean slates I gave you. My inbox is overflowing, so let's get to the good stuff, shall we? Spotted Chuck Bass up to his old tricks. Poor B, I guess nothing good lasts forever. Hot time, summer in the city. Chuck is flirty with a Serena knockoff at a Manhattan bar.
First of all, my first response is like, what the fuck, Chuck? Is this person is she a cameo? Is she a person?
So, yes, she is at this time a cameo, playing herself, model Ashley Henshaw.
Okay.
But after this, she's made a decent, she got a decent CV of acting now. She got like maybe 10 or 12 movies and about, same TV show appearances.
Okay. All right. So, but at this point, if I was a fashion person in 2009,
you might recognize
2008, I might recognize her. Got it. Yeah, that makes sense.
Jenny is sunbathing in at the Hamptons house, but Eric tells her the car is here. It looks like the summer is coming to an end. It is revealed they are hiding a secret for Serena.
What the fuck are they talking about? Like, it was so weird. And when we get to the reveal, it's even dumber because it's all just, oh, we're just covering for Serena being Serena. Like, what?
Well, I mean, so that's considered bad Serena, quote unquote.
Yeah, I know. It's just, yeah, and the way they were talking, it sounded like she was robbing banks or, but I do get it. And I want to talk about it more as it unfolds anyway. Yeah, because there's a lot that happens along that line.
Yes. Dan is teasing Rufus about going back to the real world after living at Cece's house all summer. However, Rufus points out that the real world now includes living at Lily's penthouse.
Yeah, like...
Lucky Rufus.
Yeah.
Dan, he was so uptight about it last season.
Yeah, and just the outfit alone that he's wearing. Like, what the fuck are you wearing? What is that shirt you're wearing, Rufus? That just looks like I have so much money that no one can comment on what I wear anymore. Like, that's what that shirt says to me.
Yeah.
And Dan doesn't seem to be hating it either.
No.
Dan isn't as critical as maybe he once was. And that's really as far, like, yeah, okay, I've got so much to say about people in this episode.
Dan and Rufus find Jenny and Eric not ready to leave. Dan claims Serena is doing the eat, pray, love thing, but something seems off. Dan is meeting up with Vanessa, who maybe didn't go to Europe with Nate after all.
Yeah, that kind of came out of nowhere. That looked like they were going off together, and then they're not.
But they did, though.
Yeah, they went off together.
But they just came back early or something? I don't know.
Or came back separately.
Yeah. Speaking of Nate, he is making out with an unknown Auburn beauty on a helicopter. The pair disembark and then recount their meet cute. When they part ways, they discover that not only have they met before, but their families are bitter political rivals.
Yeah, we got a little Romeo and Juliet thing coming on. Yeah. My first reaction was, who is this older woman with Nate? Once again, Nate shows up in episode 1 with an older woman, not as age inappropriate.
She's a grad student.
Which, yeah, and then we find out she is a grad student.
Right away.
Yes, she's older. Yeah. Yes, she's older, but she's not a stepmom.
Did you recognize the actress at all?
She seemed familiar. I didn't recognize who it was.
So that's Joanna Garcia. And she was really young. She was in like 20-some episodes of Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Oh, you see, I never watched that. I was just too old for that.
And then she was on Freaks and Geeks for 4 episodes.
Oh.
She was one of the cheerleaders. Like, she was Vicky's friend. The blonde one with the pigtails.
Yeah, all right.
And so her maiden name is Joanna Garcia, but she now goes by Joanna Garcia Swisher.
Okay.
Nick Swisher?
Swisher?
She's married to Nick Swisher, former Yankee.
Oh, okay. I thought it sounded like sports. I don't know the Yankees that well, but yeah, I write.
He was on the team that beat the Phillies in the World Series.
Yeah. There's a reason I don't remember them. My God, that fucking World Series, man! Cliff Lee owned them in that first. Owned them. They had nothing, and it looked like it was just going to be a beautiful, dominant. Oh, Super Bowl. Domination. Super Bowl.
Chuck and Ashley Hinshaw are about to get hot and heavy in a quiet hallway when Blair interrupts and humiliates the blonde. It turns out that this was all a kinky foreplay for Chuck and Blair.
Yeah, I kind of dug that this was their kink and this is how they're keeping things fresh. And all right, kids, have fun.
So we do find out that Blair picks her.
Yeah.
Did she deliberately pick her because she looks like Serena?
I could see that. She's a lot shorter than Serena, obviously. But I wonder how many
she
of
looks
them.
A lot like her.
Yeah, I wonder how many of the game that they've been playing, how many of the participants in this game they've been playing look like Serena. How many of them are tall blondes, and how does that get Blair going too?
Well, of course, the later one definitely is a tall blonde.
Yeah. Yep. Is she also a cameo?
Mm-hmm.
I thought so. They often treat cameos like cameos the way they speak to them. I really loved Blair's like takedown of her when she's like, "Get your American Girl doll hair and poreless skin out of here." Like she's throwing compliments at this person she's berating.
You might have an Abercrombie campaign and the key to George Clooney's castle in Lake Como.
Yeah, that I really enjoyed that.
Back at the penthouse, Rufus is discussing sleeping arrangements with Jenny, Eric, and Dan. Dan catches Eric and Jenny trying to hide the gossip magazines featuring Serena's Summer of Fun. Dan is surprisingly nonplussed at seeing them. At that moment, Serena's town car arrives and she is greeted by a sea of paparazzi. Dan calls Vanessa and blows her off. We see Vanessa is hanging out with Scott Rosen.
A couple of things here. Dan being nonplussed about Serena really feels like a continuation of the last episode. That at the end of the season, he's like, are we still really going to be friends after this? Like, what's really happening? Like, and so when he sees all these things, to him, it's like, yeah, Serena's doing Serena shit. You know, it doesn't seem like he's thrown by it. He's just kind of like, yep, that tracks, and that's what I was getting away from. You know, I kind of got that attitude from him.
Now, when he said that was before Lily Rufus proposed and the families intermingled. So they are still going to be connected. And it was more that I think because from the earlier scene, Dan was doing bad acting, like purposeful bad acting.
Uh-huh.
Like, because pretending like he didn't know what was going on.
Right. That is true.
So he is also, as we find out, covering for Serena.
Yeah, because Jenny said the things about blocking him so that he couldn't see stuff. But he does indicate later, like, yeah, I also saw, like, this shit is everywhere.
Or he just noticed that she blocked his filter.
Yeah.
As for Serena Vanderwoodson, you left America a star, but after your exploits in Europe, you've come back a supernova, and yet nothing explodes without a fuse. I wonder what lit yours.
The other thing about that scene, when Rufus goes out to save her from the paparazzi, and I did not catch it the first time, the second time I watched, she gives that look that you can see indicates that she's not mad they're there.
Yeah.
That she gives a little like, okay, they're still watching me look.
Mm-hmm.
Relief, almost. Relief that they're still watching her.
We get into Act 2. The Humphrey Vanderwoodsons minus Lily are having a brunch at the penthouse. Rufus announces that Lily bought them a table at the Vanderbilt charity polo match.
And here's Rufus being a better parent to someone who's not his kid than he is to his own kid with Serena, which he does more so later. And again, it isn't his kid, but he does. Yeah.
And I do like Dan's facial reaction to the polo match.
Yeah. Not enthused.
No.
And Rufus just being like, well, we're going to this thing. Yay. And it's, Rufus, you hate that shit too.
Serena leaves to go buy a hat for the polo match, and Dan walks her out. Dan tries to figure out what's going on with Serena and why she is lying to everyone. Serena brushes it off. Not a big deal. And everything is fine.
Dan, listen, no one's going to confide in you. You tell everyone everything. You are not a secret keeper. You're not the comfort person that you may think you are, because you also immediately judge and then tell. So you're not really a good person to confide in.
Chuck and Nate are doing a classic walk and talk and catching each other up and the audience on their respective summers. Chuck is content to let Lily continue to run the bass board so he can branch out on his own. Nate hasn't talked to his family since he skipped out on the summer internship that the grandfather lined up for him. Chuck advises Nate to take the new girl Bree to the polo match to get back at his family.
Yeah, because dating the enemy sleeping with the enemy is hot.
Yeah, he implies that he had an affair with Ivanka Trump.
Yeah. He says the why do you think I have the Ivanka thing? Yeah, I thought that whole thing was pretty funny.
Serena and Blair are doing a similar walk and talk on a different Manhattan street. Serena is a bit leery about Blair's sex games with Chuck.
This whole cut back and forth scene between Chuck and Nate and Serena and Blair, I really liked the best friends all being together again. You know, I liked seeing them talking, and I especially with all the tension that was there between Chuck and Nate before, how that's just kind of really blown over. And it was really nice to see them being the season 1 best friends again.
Yeah. We switch back to Nate and Chuck, and Nate seems to share Serena's vanilla outlook on the sex games.
And it was really, again, good best friend advice to best friends on both sides of it. Even though it seems like they're kind of shaking things up for them, it was really good best friend talk.
We shift back to the girls. We see Serena is now telling Blair that the open relationships invite chaos. Serena acts like she is annoyed by the paparazzi, but Blair calls her out on her shit.
Yeah, I love that Blair does that. I love that Serena's pretending like, oh, they just keep following me, and then flips her hair back. And
how come you got your hair blown out?
Yeah. I love it. I love that Blair knows her so well.
And they do mention she had something going on with Cristiano Ronaldo, the Portuguese soccer player.
Okay, yeah, I did.
Would have been 24 at this time.
Oh, so kind of young for Serena.
Or is this? Are we finding out that's like her target age? That's how old all her boyfriends are.
Yeah. Except
they're
Dan.
all 24, except for Dan.
Except for Dan.
Dan and Vanessa are having coffee. It turns out Vanessa has been spending a lot of time with Scott since she got back. Vanessa gets very condescending towards Dan when it's revealed that he has been enjoying Lily's wealth. Dan lies about taking the subway, but is immediately caught getting into a limo.
I first have to address Vanessa's hair. That what was going on with her head. And it was fixed. When she went outside to give Dan his glasses, it looked fine. And Robin was like, well, she didn't get the glasses to him in time because she sat for a blowout somewhere in between. But then back when we see her later on, her hair was kind of that again. Those
they're extensions.
Yeah, they're extensions, but they're tried to look like dreads, but not complete dreads. And it just kind of looked like a mess. Yeah.
So it's an unfortunate thing in the TV industry. Not a lot of the stylists know how to do other types of hair.
Which I was wondering if that would be a big part of it. That because it looked like.
Yeah, women of color have serious issues in TV shows, especially.
That scans, and that makes a lot of sense. And yeah, I could see that being a commonality, and
very much
because
so.
it is just in the world, you know.
Yeah.
That's just
you have to know what you're doing. It's different.
Yeah, you have to know what you're doing.
Rufus gets a call from Vanya letting him know that the paparazzi are going through their trash. Eric and Jenny simultaneously give different explanations of why the paparazzi are so interested in Serena. Even Rufus is smart enough to realize they're hiding something.
Yeah, and every one of their answers is legit too. So just sell it better, you know? But of course, again, everyone's a fucking narc when it comes to this shit.
Chuck arrives to pick up Blair and to engage in some more games. It appears Serena got into Blair's head because he hesitates but then reluctantly agrees to go along.
And Chuck feels genuine here when he's like, if you don't want to, we don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I really liked the dynamic. I liked how Chuck responded to her.
Yeah. Rufus is going through the gossip mags featuring Serena. Rufus notices that the same guy appears in several of the pictures. By the knowing facial expressions of the three teens, I think we can probably surmise that the guy is Carter.
Yeah. I didn't completely get that it was going to be Carter at first because I just wasn't thinking back like that. And then when he showed up in the very next scene, it was like, oh, obviously.
And the different things, so she was topless on Valentino's yacht.
Which is what you do when you're on Valentino's yacht.
Yeah. And she's dancing on tables in Barcelona.
Yeah, which is what you do when you're in Barcelona.
And then Prince Harry was doing body shots off her in Saint-Tropez.
You do off of when you're in Saint-Tropez.
So Harry was also 24 at the time of this.
That's really funny.
Yeah, plot twist, she was going the other way. It was actually Carson Wentz, who was 17 at the time. For those of you who don't know, Carson Wentz, look up a photo of him. He's an NFL player.
Yeah, and looks very much like Prince Harry.
Speak of the devil, and the devil doth appear. Serena is once again being followed by the paparazzi when Carter shows up. Serena gives Carter the slip by slipping off the straps of her dress and disappearing into the crowd of photographers.
Oh no, what's happened to my dress? Jesus Christ, Serena, you don't know how to get attention.
And we end the act with a Gossip Girl narration. Spotted, Serena Vanderwoodson giving Carter Bazin the slip. We've seen all the selects, but what happened to them when TMZ was MIA? Something tells me the truth is out of focus.
Yeah.
Act 3 begins. Nate is calling Chuck because he is upset that his family bought him a car in yet another attempt to control his life.
Just another Nate wanting to throw his family's money back at them when they're just giving him nice things.
Vanessa is talking to Scott about Dan lying to her. Aside from the fact that we know Scott is a creepy stalker, I really don't like how he's trying to invalidate Vanessa's feelings, even if she is being judgmental. Scott then convinces Vanessa to get them both invited to the polo match so she can confront Dan.
So first of all, V, tone it down a bit. Tone it down a bit. We know you hate anybody who's richer than you are. Because again...
Which is everyone.
Which is everyone on the show. She is going to NYU. She does live in an apartment that her parents pay for in Brooklyn. She's not poor. She's just not, she's the most poor person on the show.
If we're going based on reality, but I feel like these showrunners just don't understand how money works. And they think she's getting by on a barista salary.
Right. That, fair.
Part-time.
Yeah, there is some detached writing in here. Yes, she can't take private cars. She takes the subway.
Yeah. Outside a modeling agency, Chuck and Blair are screening applicants for their sex entrapment game. Blair is rejecting every one of the models for farcical reasons. Chuck actually steps up and sees Blair is feeling insecure about the game and tells her that he just wants her to be happy and that they don't have to do the game if she doesn't want to. Good on Chuck.
Yeah, good job, Chuck. I really liked Chuck this whole episode. Way to take care of Blair.
Definitely a changed man.
Yeah.
Jetty and Eric go to the loft to pick up some things. They discuss that Lily is with Cece, who is once again under treatment. They feel sorry for Rufus having been suddenly put in charge of 2 kids he didn't raise in a house that he doesn't own. They also hope that Rufus, knowing about Serena's summer, will lead to the reveal of why she did it.
Of course, Eric, the pragmatic sage of the show, laying out this nice piece of exposition where we see Rufus being in charge and we see Rufus with the kids. We don't necessarily have all of the backstory here. So for Eric to really lay out, hey, take it easy on your dad because these are the things that are happening, that was a really nice little piece of exposition to help build that layer of relationship that they're now establishing in those 2 households.
Serena arrives back at the penthouse and Rufus is waiting with gossip magazines carefully laid out on the table. Rufus goes into judgmental dad mode with an assist from Dan.
I will say I felt once again Rufus was a better parent to Serena than he ever was to Jenny. And I say that because he does come in ready to be judgmental, but is instantly like, before I get mad, talk to me. Which is a privilege he never afforded Jenny. Ever. And when Serena laid it out and was like, hey, I'm sorry I did these things and I know what it looks like and this is what's going on. I'm sorry. And Rufus is like, okay, let's put this behind us. Which again is something and now it's not his kid. He can't really do much. And I think he recognizes that what happens when you punish Serena, she goes to Spain.
She's got to go.
Yeah, she just leaves. So I think he handled it very well, and the only way you can really handle it is you're disciplining your stepkid, but he's still a better parent to Serena than he ever was to Jenny.
So Dan mentions that if you look close enough at some of the pictures, nothing is left to the imagination.
Yeah.
Being that Dan is a horny teenage boy, what was he doing all summer with those pictures?
Oh, yeah. I mean... We didn't hear about Dan dating, did he?
No.
Did we?
After Rufus leaves, Dan confronts Serena about Carter. Serena panics and tells Dan that Carter is stalking her. When Serena goes to her room, Dan immediately calls Blair for help.
Yeah. Serena, this is a bad look. This is a bad look, saying that somebody is stalking you that is not stalking you.
Yeah.
Accusing people of things that you know they're not doing.
Not good.
Is really bad. Now, if they're doing the thing, by all means, use your voice, speak up, let people know that things aren't right. But if they're not doing the thing that you're accusing them of, it is highly ethically inappropriate to make accusations that could get somebody into a lot of trouble legally and financially because you're upset or because you're trying to hide something of your own. Serena.
Scott is seen calling his mom while holding his birth certificate and telling her that he's finally ready to do what he came here to do.
Yeah. He forced his way in with the person who forces her way into everything. Like,
they are perfect for each other.
Like, it's a pilot fish following a pilot fish. like
Vanessa finally used to bag herself a Humphrey.
Yeah. Oh, Vanessa.
The act closing Gossip Girl narration was interspersed with both this scene and the previous photo with Dan leaving a message for Blair. And it goes, "This just in, an unlikely alliance is forming on the Upper East Side. Too bad it may be too late to do any good."
Yeah, I also was very excited when Dan called Blair, because I always love a Blair-Dan team up at this point.
Yes. We get into Act 4. Let the festivities begin. The party of the week has arrived. Jenny is excited about having an engraved place card with her name on it. Rufus offers to bully a photographer, but Serena declines and says she has to go find Blair.
Yeah. Mrs. Jenny Humphrey.
Yes. They made her married.
Yeah, when did you get married? I don't know, but it's engraved.
Yeah, and we get the call back to the white party from last season premiere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nate is also on site with his new gal pal, Bree. Nate surprises Bree by introducing her to the grandfather. Nate gets pulled away to talk to someone else before he can explain himself to Bree.
Yeah, that was shitty, Nate.
Yeah.
If you would have said ahead of time, hey, I want you to go on a date with me to this family event where my grandfather is going to be, but you don't just put someone in that fucking awkward ass situation.
And then immediately ditch them.
And then ditch them. And then be like, oh, someone who has money wants to talk to me. Excuse me, lady.
Chuck and Blair are at a table dissing the food and drink. They spot a model, Alexandra Richards, and even Blair is impressed this time. Chuck is ogling the model, but Blair makes it clear that they are done with the game.
Yeah. You can see that Blair both liked and disliked the game. That she liked it, but she's in her head about it from the talk with Serena. And Serena's not wrong. This kind of thing, I could see Serena's point of it being a slippery slope, and Blair liking it until she doesn't anymore. So,
or one time she shows up too late.
Or the one time she shows up too late. Exactly.
Scott and Vanessa are also here. Yay! Creepy Scott spots Dan across the room, or across from the party, and suggests that Vanessa should talk to him.
Fuck all the way off, Vanessa. Vanessa, you're not even supposed to be here. And she, all throughout this, she pops into this thing where she's not supposed to be, and then is like, why aren't you spending time with me? It's like, because I didn't think you'd fucking be here.
Vanessa approaches Dan. Things are still prickly between them. It seems like Vanessa is about to apologize, but is interrupted by Blair. Dan apologizes to V, but goes off with Blair.
Yeah. And Dan lied about taking the subway. Dan isn't being shitty to Vanessa outside of that lie, and she's just being such an asshole.
Yeah.
And when it's like, hey, I need to go do this thing because I didn't fucking know you'd be here and I knew this was happening, I have to do the thing I have to do the scheme I set up with Blair.
My new best friend.
Yeah, my new best friend.
Suck it, Vanessa.
Fucking asshole.
Scott introduces himself to Rufus as Scott Adler, a friend of Vanessa. When Rufus offers a handshake, Scott is dumbfounded. Scott pushes Rufus's buttons by finally sputtering out that he is a big fan of Rufus's music.
Which, that was a great cover and a great way to talk to this person, because of course he is, because he's been stalking them. So of course, like, he learned his dad's music. I really liked that moment, and that they really carried that on, that it's, oh, no, I'm just a big fan. I thought it was clever.
Yeah.
I was not mad at Scott. Scott's a stalker and he's creepy. I liked that moment.
Blair and Dan find Carter, and it looks like this dynamic duo got a restraining order against Carter, and from now on, Blair will be by Serena's side. Serena then shows up, and Carter denies the stalking, but won't reveal the truth to Dan and Blair. Serena then gets called off to throw out the first ball, and Dan and Blair are left alone. Blair sees Chuck talking with the model from earlier.
Yeah, it's a decent scheme. It is TV, so they do just hand out restraining orders.
Oh, you're rich.
Yeah, exactly.
And this yet another cameo here. The polo player is Nacho Figueras, who, according to his Wikipedia, is the David Beckham of polo.
Oh, that's awesome. Was he 24 at the time?
Possibly.
I also like that Serena got caught in her shit. That when they're all face to face and they're like, "You're stalking her," and he's like, "I'm stalking her." Really? Is that what's happening?
Really?
Really?
Really, Serena? Scott is telling Rufus about his collection of Lincoln Hog concert bootlegs. Rufus leaves Scott holding the drinks, and the festivities are interrupted by first Serena and then Carter riding off out of the party on horses. Poor Scott.
Yeah, but I did love the whole, like, oh, I might have that recorded straight off the board if you want to have it. And I loved how Rufus just got so played by the music thing, because of course he would, because man, I would be like that if so. Of course he's doing that,
Yeah. Forget about a grand entrance. Everybody knows it's the exit they'll remember. Gossip Girl narrates as we go into Act 5. Nate finds Bree alone outside the event. It turns out she is trying to get back in with her family and doesn't want to be photographed in the enemy camp. Nate apologizes and lets her know that he's always down for a secret romance.
But you are going to have to pay me.
Yes.
But I do have a fee for secret romances. And it's funny how she wants to be back with her family and he's trying to cut himself off. So obviously this is going to play into more of that family dynamic as they go through. I'm really interested. I don't know if she's going to be a cast member or if she's going to be an arc. They are going to be at the same school, so I could see her at least being a recurring character. So I'm kind of interested to see how this arc plays out.
Any thoughts on her little backstory that she gave?
The cousin getting stood up at the altar.
Yeah.
I really didn't pay much mind to it other than, wow, I wasn't there for my cousin and now I want to go back and be there for her. Was there something else?
No, I'll just say, remember that story.
Okay.
Carter tracks Serena down. It turns out that the big secret that they track down Big Daddy V, and he has no interest in seeing his little girl. Carter would have stayed with Serena all summer, but she ditched him when her father rejected her. The confession is exactly what Serena wanted to hear, so she pulls Carter in for the kiss.
Yeah. So the part earlier where Carter said it got weird and Serena said it got weird, there was indication. I forget Carter didn't say it got weird, but Carter made a reference that made it sound like something happened between them. And by the time we got to this reveal, I forgot about the dad stuff. In the beginning of the episode, I remembered, oh yeah, she went to Europe to find her dad, but now she's doing all this other stuff. And so when Carter says to her about, like, you tried, he didn't want to see you. He didn't want that. It was really, it's a pretty powerful thing, right? Like, her dad doesn't want to see her. And here's this guy that's like, but I would have been there for you this whole time anyway. And then she kisses the guy she accuses of stalking her.
That reminds me of a, did you ever watch that show Episodes?
No, I've heard of it. That's the Friends, Matt Blanc, right?
Yeah, it's like a fake fictional version of himself.
Yeah. I never actually watched it, but
at one point in the show, he was feeling a bit depressed, so he slept with his stalker. It was a young, beautiful woman.
That's hilarious. In a comedic universe, that's hilarious. Like in the realm of television, it's sort of like when I watch a horror movie with Robin, she's like, people don't deserve to die. I'm like, no, there are rules to horror movies, and that person deserves to die by the law of horror movies, not real life.
The grandfather approaches Nate and Bree. Nate declares that he is not taking the new internship and that he will find his own way back to the city. The grandfather tells him, Nate, my boy, work where you want, fuck who you want, I'll always love you. Now take this car and get back to the city safe. As soon as Nate and Bree walk away, the grandfather calls Trip and tells him they now have a way to take down the Buckleys.
Yeah, it's so funny how he is always so deviously supportive of Nate. That he's always, of course, Nate, you can just take this car and there's absolutely no strings attached. You don't have to take the internship.
Blair is back at the match and learns that Chuck left a few minutes ago along with a woman fitting Alexander Richards' description.
Yes. Is he back playing the game again? And kind of, I'd say kind of. A little bit. I wouldn't think that the leaving at the same time was an accident for Chuck. But.
Spotted. Blair Waldorf learning just because you get out of the game doesn't mean someone isn't warming the bench to take your place. And we go into the epilogue. The match is wrapping up and Vanessa is going home, but first she drops a big heaping pile of judgment on Dan.
Yeah, you're mad at Dan because you're at a place where he didn't expect to see you and he doesn't have time for you, and he's wearing nice clothes that someone else bought for him for this occasion. When, at any point, has Dan not been himself? At no point was Dan not doing Dan shit. He's been judging Serena, like that's a Dan thing. He's been putting up with Vanessa's bullshit, that's a Dan thing. He's been very uncomfortable surrounded by money. He doesn't like, he likes what he's getting, but there is that level of discomfort that you see, and
he's helping his family.
And he's helping his family.
Transition, as he says.
Yes, as he always does, because his family always has been his priority, especially because his family is just his dad and sister. Like, his mom's, like, fucking gone at this point.
She's fucking all right.
She's fucking all right.
All Hudson. Carter noticeably signs Serena is gathering his clothes as two angry-looking men are holding the horses.
I love that she ditched him. I love that she ditched him again. Like, again, Vulture Report, Serena just being fucking Serena this whole episode.
Did he, like, pass out for a minute or something? How did she pull that off?
I mean, I could see her immediately after just be like, I'll be right back, and then vanishing,
Blair arrives home and starts looking for Alexander Richards. It turns out Chuck just had a headache and Blair didn't get the text because she left her phone on the table. Blair admits the rush home from Connecticut was exciting, but Chuck suggests just staying in.
Yeah, it was really cute. And once again, Chuck really, really driving home the point. I want you to be happy. That is what I want. This is super sweet. I loved it.
Vanessa and Scott are back in the city. Vanessa apologizes for taking Scott to the polo match. Scott tries to take an optimistic look on the situation. Vanessa goes in for the kiss. The two of them make out in the middle of the street. As the episode ending montage begins, Gossip Girl narrates, growing up means one thing, independence.
The maybe we're not friends thing. You had an argument.
Over dramatic much, Vanessa?
Yeah. You guys just had an argument over shit that was entirely your fault. So if anyone gets to make that call at this point, it's Dan.
Yeah.
Like you are the asshole. Go on Reddit. List out this whole story under the Am I the Asshole line. Guess what they're going to say? You're the asshole.
Yes. And then we get Rufus, Jenny, and Eric arrive back at the penthouse with a photographer. And Gossip Girl continues, we all want it.
Yeah.
Nate and Bree are driving back to the city. They rudely stop in the middle of traffic to make out. And Gossip Girl narrates, sometimes we use other people to try to get it for ourselves.
I was actually expecting a paparazzi click at the light of them kissing because whatever grandfather's scheme is, obviously it has to do with Nate and Bree. I thought that it was going to start there, but no, they just made out at a green light. I'd be so fucking pissed if I was sitting behind them.
There are definitely people honking.
Yeah, I would have been laying on that horn.
You get rich people in their Ferrari.
Fucking Ferrari. Stop making out in your Ferrari with your hot girlfriend, kid. Go drive it to whatever hotel you can find.
Blair and Chuck have found a new way to play games with just the two of them. Gossip Girl narrates, sometimes we find it in each other.
That was cute.
Little role playing.
Yeah.
Although Chuck is role playing as a waiter. That's definitely a missed opportunity to let him do a British accent.
You're right. It's almost as if there's canon that Chuck can't do a British accent, even though he can barely speak in an American one.
I mean, he really whispered his line in that scene, too.
Yeah.
Serena leaves a voicemail for presumably her father begging his attention.
Serena, let it go. And
he doesn't want you.
Yeah, I know that's tough to hear, kid. And I'd recommend, instead of this, therapy. Therapy, Serena. Like, it will do you so much good, but trust me, this is not going to be good. You have his attention. What do you think doing all of this does to his desire to give it to you?
Dan is sitting alone in the loft, and Gossip Girl continues, sometimes our independence comes at a cost of something else, and that cost can be high.
Yeah, Rufus has gone full Lily, and instead of parenting at this point, it's just buying the photos to make sure no one gets the photos of Serena's stunt double on a horse.
Which is the next little clip here. Rufus is using Lily's emergency money to buy the photographs of Serena from the polo match. However, the man says there's one photographer that they couldn't reach. Rufus, you just got swindled. What's the point of buying these photos if there's more photos of the same event out there?
Yeah, more photos of Serena's stunt double on that horse. Because there's no way Blake Lively was riding that horse across that scene.
Yeah, and Gossip Girl continues, because more often than not, in order to gain our independence, we have to fight. And then Serena is the final scene. She's with the photographer, and she's, making sure the photos hit the net. And Gossip Girl says, never give up, never surrender.
Yeah, she makes sure that those will be anywhere in Europe and Asia where her dad can see them.
And so, the full ending lines from Gossip Girl is, growing up means one thing, independence. We all want it sometimes. Sometimes we use other people to try to get it for ourselves. Sometimes we find it in each other. Sometimes our independence comes at the cost of something else, and that cost can be high. Because more often than not, in order to gain our independence, we have to fight. Never give up, never surrender. XO, Gossip Girl. So that is our season premiere.
the last thing I want to say to Serena is that this really is not the power play you think it is.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care. And that, like, I feel for, like, that sucks, but, like, he doesn't care.
So predictions, let's do predictions, like what's coming up right away. What's coming in the next few episodes?
Okay, grandfather scheme is going to take place and unfold that is going to, get in between Nate and Bree or bring them closer together. Like I said, I don't know if she's going to be a cast member or an in and out member. Another big prediction. I never intentionally look ahead. I never intentionally see stuff. The next episode in Max, the thumbnail, shows a picture of Blair's face. And that face tells me that she just discovered who her new roommate is. So I believe that that's coming up in the next episode, that Blair is going to have a roommate in a dorm, which I'm surprised Blair is living in a dorm at a state school. Another prediction is that Serena is going to continue to make a fool out of herself for the attention of somebody who doesn't give a shit. But eventually it's probably going to work because that's how TV works. So I think that in the near future we'll meet Mr. Vanderwoodson. I kind of hope Cece gets better because she's been better on the show. So I hope that there's not a Cece funeral coming up. That would make me a little sad at this point. Also feel like Blair and Chuck have this rhythm now. It can only last for so long before something interrupts it. I give that maybe 3 episodes, but I don't think it's going to be too long before there's a shakeup there.
Okay. So that's the micro. Looking more at the macro side, we kind of noticed that the season premieres set up things that kind of close out at the end of the season or near the end of the season. What kind of big parallels do you think they kind of set up for beginning this time?
First of all, the secret scandals are there. Again, the grandfather Nate thing kind of parallels the Catherine Nate thing in the sense of here's this secret relationship that other people are going to be able to exploit.
But that was resolved pretty quick.
What kind of things you're talking about, like throughout?
What do you think was set up in this episode that'll pay off at the end of the season?
I think that we'll see some payoff with the Rufus Vanderwoodson children, the relationship there, because however Lily decides that Rufus handled that, we're going to see. So I think that we're going to see their relationship really develop throughout this season, with Rufus really being dad while Serena is looking for dad. So there's definitely this big dad thing going on here. So I'm wondering how that's going to play out. I think that Blair and Chuck coming in so happy at the beginning, I feel like that sets up for, again, just there hasn't been a happy couple throughout a whole season yet, I guess is what I'm thinking with them. What do you think?
So do you think they're going to break up a couple episodes and be happy again at the end?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, yes. I think that I see them doing sort of the Dan Serena thing and getting back together and apart a couple times, or at least almost breaking up. They're going to have tension there. So I really see that, but I think that, again, it'll tie up with them together in the end again, kind of like how it started with them apart together. Now, well, I guess together apart would make more sense. So they could end up breaking up in the end because the other ones, they looked like they were getting together in the end and then didn't. There's a lot of ways this can go.
Any other predictions?
I also predict we're going to see some kind of triangle between Dan, Serena, and Carter play out. Carter really is sort of an in and out character, and I feel like this episode didn't resolve his current stay on the show. So I feel like that's going to play out a little more until he gets fired at some point, because I'm pretty sure this is the season where he gets fired. I don't remember for sure, though.
All right, let's go ahead and get into some segments. This week in fandom, we hopped into the Wayback Machine to travel to the television without pity forums of 2009.
Hello there, Peabody here. And this is the Wayback Machine for traveling through time. And this is my boy, Sherman. Speak, Sherman. Hello. Good boy.
There's mixed opinions on the episode overall.
That I can gather. I have mixed opinions on the episode.
Some people liked it, some didn't.
Yeah.
Dan might become a fan favorite. He keeps smacking down Vanessa.
Yeah. That also is very fair. She needed to be smacked down.
Yeah. A lot of hair watching this episode.
Yes. In fact, when I brought up Vanessa's hair, I also meant to bring up the fact that like a lot of the other hair looked great. The Chuck and Nate both had Dan, Chuck, and Nate all had new hairstyles, and I thought they all looked good. So
the forums, Vanessa's extensions were horrible.
They were horrible.
They were not a fan of Jenny's hair either.
No, Jenny's hair also
looked like a rat's nest, and there was mixed reactions to both Nate and Dan's new hair.
Yeah, I like both of their hair.
They are very intrigued by Serena and Carter.
They're an intriguing couple. They're kind of a power couple in a way. So I'm not mad at them hooking up.
So they kept calling Scott Pilot Inspector with a K, not a C, because K's are cooler. But I don't get the reference.
Me neither.
So if anyone gets it, please let us know. Blair and Chuck were sweet, but something seemed a bit off.
Yeah, I mean, they need more excitement in their relationship instead of getting it from within. That's a red flag, I think.
Desperate for an Eric storyline.
Yeah. Stop just putting him in. Stop just making him filler.
One fan commented that the actor turned down an offer to become a regular cast member.
Oh, interesting.
He wanted the flexibility to get other jobs.
It's a shame because I would have liked him to have a bigger presence on Gossip Girl.
And just like you, I've noticed a growing number of people are starting to enjoy and look forward to the Dan and Blair team-ups.
Yeah. Yep. First of all, I love when they do it.
They're going to be at college together.
Yes, they are, and it's only a matter of time. I've always suspected they're going to bang.
It should be an interesting quartet at NYU with Dan, Georgina, Vanessa, and Blair.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Dan's going to be like John Ritter in Three's Company. But that is it for this week in fandom. Let's go head over to episode grades. What do you got, Steve?
First, I want to say I don't think I could see Penn Badgley taking a pratfall like John Ritter, but other than that, I have a B, a solid B for this episode. There were a few minor writing points that I thought this could have been punched up. I overall liked the episode. It wasn't in one of my top tier episodes. Those top tier episodes really have to have a big scheme kind of unfold or a big plot reveal or a big twist. And this had the Serena's dad thing, but it wasn't quite the big episode that I want for an A, but it's a solid B.
Well, we are in the hand-holding club because I also have a B. Like you said, it was a bit slow, but it had a lot of setup, I think. It set up a lot of things.
Right. It was a good season premiere, and it set up a season. I felt it actually set up a season better than the last season premiere did. The last season premiere set up arcs, but it didn't set up the season, whereas this has it once again takes them out of the city for most of it. It puts them in Connecticut for part of it. So, yeah, I really like that.
Mm-hmm. Let's head on over to Stockwatch. Who do you got going up?
I have Nate. I have Nate going up because he doesn't know that he's getting played yet. And he got a girl and he thinks everything's going his way right now. I had Chuck and Blair both going up as well. They seem like they're in a good place right now, so I had them going up because they're working things out as a couple. I had Carter going up because, Carter got Serena for a bit. I had Jenny going up because she had her nameplate engraved. I had Scott going up because his scheme worked out for him. I had Rufus going up because he's going through he does have a tough situation, and I think he's handling it better than I would have expected.
Anyone else?
That is all for going up.
All right. For me, I have Dan going up because he's got that nice suit. He's got a wallet full of $100 bills, and he smacked down Vanessa. I also have...
I was just going to say, I actually left him neutral because I liked those things. I didn't think he really went anywhere himself in the episode, but I do see what you're saying.
He's also got a great tan for once. He's not looking all pasty.
Yeah.
I also had Jenny and Eric going up because they had the cute best friends, brother-sister thing going on. I had Blair and Chuck going up because they were cute and healthy for once.
Yeah,
I had the grandfather going up because he's sort of got Nate, wrapped around his finger.
Yeah.
And I also had Scott going up because he was, like you said, his scheme seems to be working.
Yeah.
Who do you got going down?
So going down, I have Serena as my first one going down because, oh, honey. I have Vanessa going down because she's an asshole. I actually had grandfather going down, but it's because he's creepy, devious, and because he doesn't quite have the control over Nate that I think he wants to have yet. I think grandfather's stock is about to go up, but I have him going down for this episode. And finally, I had Bree getting played by the Vanderbilts. I had her stock going down. I left Eric neutral because I felt like he was a really great exposition piece in this episode, but I didn't really see him projecting one way or another. Whereas I saw Jenny actually moving up.
I mainly gave it to him because he seemed happy.
Yeah, which is always good. Halfway through the episode, Robin said, "Has anyone checked in with Eric lately?" Which I was like, we talk about that a lot on the podcast.
For me, going down, Serena, because, obviously. I got Daddy Vanderwoodson going down because he's a really horrible parent.
Oh, yeah. I would like to add Papa Vanderwoodson to my list, too. I didn't really think about him, but, yeah, he's an asshole. I can't imagine, honestly.
Rufus, because he's just oblivious. And
that's fair.
Total hypocrite reverse from last season.
Oh, yeah.
I think the title is really about him, the reversals of fortune.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Vanessa, because she was horrible.
Asshole.
And I also had Ashley Henshaw going down because she got played.
And
I had Cece going down because she might be dying.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Cece.
But here's the best outfits from the last episode we've seen.
Who do you have for best outfit?
I had Serena's dress at the polo.
The orange one.
I don't typically like orange very much, but I thought that she really carried it. It's also probably the dress that showed the least amount of boob on Serena. And I kind of appreciated that it wasn't so much so much boob on a dress of hers. So I gave it to that one.
I went with Chuck's lavender pinstripe suit at the polo match.
I have a shout out to that too. Chuck, this whole episode had outfit after outfit that was just slick. I really like Chuck's outfits in this. Dan too. Dan's suit at the polo match was also I liked that. The no tie. It was very similar to the grandfather's suit that he wore to the season premiere last year too. The tan with no collar. The one Cece's husband's suit.
Yeah. Well, that is it for segments. You plugging anything this week?
I am going to be at Dawson Street Pub on March 15th, and I will be playing some Black Sabbath covers on the ukulele during the intermission of an entire Black Sabbath tribute. So come on out to that. It'll be a fun night. And you can also go ahead and follow me on Instagram or TikTok at steve.marchon, Marchion. You can also find me on Blue Sky at The Weed Wizard. Go ahead and follow me there because I feel like not a lot of people follow me there. Or Threads at steve.marchon. And I think that's all my stuff.
All right. For me, nothing really to plug, but let me know if you watched the first couple episodes of Good Cop, Bad Cop. Let me know what you thought. Yeah, so you should have seen a couple episodes by now. And if you want to follow me on Instagram or TikTok, or not a TikTok, on Instagram or on Blue Sky, I'm at Hot Capicola, HOTCAPICOLA. And you can follow the podcast on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, at Non-Judging Breakfast Pod. We're also on Facebook. And if you're interested in our Patreon or our Discord server, you can find the information on our website, nonjudgingbreakfastpod.com.
And if you'd like to send us an email, we'd love to hear your thoughts and maybe even read them on air. You can go ahead and send that to nonjudgingbreakfastpod@gmail.com. And also, while you're listening, please give us a like, a subscribe, a follow, a comment would really help boost our visibility in Apple Podcasts. And also, tell a friend what you're listening to. Share the info of the Non-Judging Breakfast Pod and make us the water cooler talk every week.
And we will be back next week to talk about Season 3, Episode 2, The Freshman. The Max episode description reads, Georgina has plans for Blair at NYU.
Yes. Wow, I'm so excited for Georgina after hating her so much in Season 1. She just did a 180 in my fucking heart for this show last season, and I'm ready for it.
Well, until next time, you know you love us.
XOXO.
Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Oh, it seems I'm walking right to your door. My heart's still resting, looking for something more. Are you ever gonna see everything you mean to me? I'm trying really hard to believe. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Never feels right when I'm out here on my own. I left last night and it feels like way too long. Are you ever gonna see everything you mean to me? I'm trying really hard to believe. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Come back to me. Smile and you'll make my life complete. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with